Nation, to this latest edition of the Sports Nerd Show. We are a collection of sports nerds whose mission is to bring you as much sports talk as time allows over the next 60 minutes. Although we will strive to be highly informative and equally as entertaining over the next hour, we must warn you that there may be some cuss words along the way. But we don't give a damn because that is the way most humans in the real world tend to talk, and we, the sports nerds, are no exception. So without further ado, Nerd Nation, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as I present to you the founder and host of this crazy-ass show, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
Hello, everyone. I am the Sports Nerd. Welcome to the Sunday show. With my co-host tonight, Mr. Elliot Big E Lamba, the producer, off camera, and Mr. Wayne, the Professor Lynch. Mr. Ken Koslow is here, but he is actually in the chat, so he won't be on camera tonight. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Week 2 in the NFL. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. 49ers lost, but they haven't won in Minnesota since 1992. So what I don't understand is how they get 2 games in Minnesota back-to-back years.
It's just the way the schedule makers put it.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But
the way the schedule is made, it's made by how teams finished the year before.
Oh, no, I realize that. But if they're going to play them this year, it seems like they should have played them in Santa Clara as opposed to Minnesota.
Again, where they finished determines where they play.
Hi, Sheila. Hi, Ken. Good to see you guys.
It has nothing to do with taking turns or anything like that. Where they finish in the standings, that's how they determine where the game is played.
Yeah. What's up to Anthony Slate and to my brother Tim?
Anthony.
Anyway, this is rarefied air, gentlemen. If Ken was on the program tonight, I would be sitting here in rarefied air, meaning I am the only person on the panel whose team won today.
Yeah, don't get too happy. You beat Jacksonville. Crap. Fucking crap ass team. Trevor Lawrence is a joke.
Well, you know what? And he's proving that every week as every season that he goes on. He has not improved at all.
And Doug Peterson is no freaking coach.
But he's got a ring.
He won. Oh, yeah, that's fine. But he had a better team when he got that ring. Jacksonville is a joke, dude.
Yeah. Well,
but go ahead.
You know what? A win is a win.
You got to take the gifts when they're presented to you.
A win is a win, and I aged about 5 years in that fourth quarter. I'm just going to say. Stupid mistakes, stupid decisions, stupid plays, too many freaking penalties.
So you aged 6 years since Friday, huh?
Yes. Yes. Very true. Regardless, the Browns never fail to give me a heart attack when it comes to Sunday football. Too many damn penalties, too many stupid mistakes, and why the hell on third down with the clock running and no timeouts for Jacksonville would you throw the damn ball? And yet they get an incomplete pass, and therefore the clock stops.
Especially
this
when
is in the last minute and a half of the game.
Especially when Deshaun Watson is the quarterback.
Now, no question I have for you, Scott, is he going to say his name today, or is this still just going to be number 4?
Number 4.
Because he scored today, dude.
He's
the reason you guys won. He scored.
That's all right. He's still number 4. He's still number 4. Number 4 played well today. He had a couple of clutch plays that he made down the stretch. So yeah, we had a good day. The Browns. Granted, it wasn't pretty. There and again, whenever is it pretty when the Browns are playing and they win? They always win ugly.
But you won a game that you should have won. Don't
Yeah, but we only won it.
stop
know.
trying to break your arm patting yourself on the back.
I'm not patting myself back because it was a close game, and it was just, hey, Carlos in the house, Elliot. It was just, I mean, it was ugly, but we won. I don't care. The defense played out of their mind today. Got to hand it to
Against Jacksonville.
but still, the defense. The red zone defense stood up and then
Against Jacksonville. Let's not make it seem like you beat a Super Bowl contender. You beat Jacksonville. What's your next game?
taking away my
Taking away your joy, huh?
my joy. Yes, taking
Well,
it away.
limit your joy because, like I said, you act like they beat some kind of Super Bowl.
No, I know they didn't. Damn it! But still, it's
Matter of fact, they should have lost that game.
You know what? Screw you, Elliot. Go fuck yourself. I'm just saying. Okay.
They beat a.
He's raining on my parade, Wayne. You hear
they
this?
beat-
Crap?
They beat a Pee Wee League team by 5 points.
Oh, he's raining on my parade, Wayne.
Yeah, well, let's get into the shocker. New Orleans.
The New Orleans Saints and the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, the one
New
in
Orleans
Baltimore.
winning, that's not so much of a shocker. The beatdown.
Baltimore. Oh, yeah, the way they got beat down.
The beatdown. Well, Baltimore lost 26-23. They were up
To
23.
the Raiders after they had a 23-6 lead.
Yeah. But the beatdown is 44 to whatever it was.
19.
19? Oh, okay.
So
Because
I
once
wonder
they
how
put up-
Ken's feeling. How you feeling today, Ken? How about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? Boy, did Alvin right? Elliot, do you have Alvin Kamara on your fantasy team?
No, I do not.
Somebody, whoever did, had a good day today. 4 touchdowns,
They sure
a
did.
bunch of yards. Alvin Kamara had him a day, and it was in Dallas. Dallas had like a 10 or 11 game win streak, or 16 game win streak, I think, at home alone. That was snapped today. You know what? The Saints are for real. They played really well today, and Derek Carr looked really good.
91 points in 2 games.
You know, when you're averaging 45.5 points a game, you look pretty good on offense.
Yeah.
Well, their defense
What
is pretty
happened
good
to
today,
that?
too.
What happened to that vaunted Dallas defense?
You mean the non-existent vaunted Dallas defense?
Well, I mean, they were at home. You know, their last 2 home games, they've lost by like, what, 80-something to
Yeah. Thank you, Green Bay and New Orleans. Thank you very much.
And
Yeah,
they're,
like I said,
oh, by the
New Orleans
way,
winning, that's not a shock. The
By the
beatdown
way-
was a surprise.
their 16-game home winning streak got snapped today too.
Yes. Regular season.
And how about that $60 million quarterback?
Here
Here we go.
we go.
Here we go, out in the first round if we make the playoffs.
Ken's
Here we
not
go.
talking. Ken's not commenting. That's all right, Kenny.
Well, what's he gonna say?
I don't know. I
It
don't
wasn't
know.
like they lost on a field goal in the last 3 seconds. Come on
I
now.
know. They got waxed like rain dance.
The game was over at halftime, for Christ's sake. It was over at halftime.
They got turtle waxed, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of took a little bit of the edge off of the Niners losing.
Yeah, the Niners losing in Minnesota. You guys said you haven't lost in Minnesota. So what, 96 you said, Wayne?
No, haven't won there since 92.
92.
And going into the game and during the week, I that's the only thing that kept bugging me is that San Francisco just can't seem to beat them in Minnesota, no matter what field they play on.
Right.
You know. And the thing is, okay, Jordan Mason's a nice running back, but he ain't no Christian McCaffrey.
No, he's not. I mean, he had a great game week 1. But yeah, he's no CMC. You are correct.
But he still had 100 yards rushing. So
Well, he had 100 yards rushing, but you know what? That's one-dimensional. If you have a Christian McCaffrey, now Minnesota has to think about him in the passing game. Did Jordan Mason get a catch today?
Nope.
No. Christian McCaffrey, again, dual threat. Run and pass. Without him or with him, we'd have probably had a better chance to win that game. Okay, but everybody has to deal with injuries. Like I said, Jordan Mason's a nice back. I mean, 100 yards and 20 carries, I think it was. And that's commendable.
Well, 6 sacks from the offensive line didn't help either.
Sheila, I ain't never got nothing nice to say when it comes to the Cowboys. Never.
Ken wants to ban the Saints and the Niners from ever appearing on their schedule again.
You might.
Well, if it's a home game during the playoffs for the Cowboys, yeah, and the Niners coming to town, that's a wrap, baby.
Yeah, the Cowboys really laid a major egg today. And again, how's that $60 million quarterback working out?
And you brought back Zeke for this?
Zeke actually played?
Yeah, he did. He didn't do much of anything.
Exactly. They don't have a running game. That's their problem.
With the Redskins winning, that holds my prediction that the Redskins will finish in second place in the NFC East. Now
That holds true because Washington won. Yep.
So I
But
can live with that.
Zeke had 6 carries for 16 yards.
yeah, there you go.
Rico Dowdle had 7 for 30. So who the hell that is, I have no idea.
Oh, Rico Dowdle?
Rico Dowdle. Yeah. Hey, 2.4 yards per carry?
2.67 yards per carry.
Yeah, fraction.
What do you have? 6 for 16?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the other guy
2.67
has 7 for 30?
for 30.
13 for 43 or 46.
Then you had Deuce Vaughn with 4 carries for 11 yards. Turpin had 1 carry for 2. Brandon Cooks had 1 carry for -3. And Dak had 2 carries for 12 yards. So, I mean.
Boy, what a menacing running game.
I know. I mean, it just, oh my
The
God.
ground game is so intimidating for them.
Dak was 27 of 39 for 293 with 1 touchdown and 2 picks.
Oh, so he's reverting back to form.
Yes.
Yeah. No. He hasn't reverted. He's in true form. He's in true first round elimination form right now.
Ken says the Saints are playing a junior college team today. I didn't recognize anyone in white today. A major egg, you could have made the world's largest omelet with it, he says. So, yes. Ken is not holding back punches. He is, owning that loss because he knows
Ken does not hold back the punches. I
No.
do give him credit for that.
And he does own the tragic performances by the Cowboys as well.
Yes, he does. He always does.
Yeah, I give him props for that because he definitely takes it.
60 million. That's all I gotta say.
But that whole giving up over 80 point, 44 today, and when they lost to the Packers, wasn't it 48?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's over 80.
92 to 51
Yeah, 92-51.
at home. And honestly, those that Packer game, Packers gave up 2 garbage time touchdowns. They weren't even playing defense at that point.
Right.
One of the guys out there says that no matter what the final score is, that game was actually 48-16.
Well, I'm sure most of Dak's 297 yards came during garbage time as well, when the Saints were playing just more lackadaisical defense, just keep the man in front of you.
Oh yeah, but they didn't score that. They didn't score actually in the second. Did they score in the second half, or what they have?
I
One
think they
touchdown.
got a touchdown in the second half.
Okay.
They
It was like
had,
35 to
no,
13
Dallas
halftime.
did not have a touchdown in the second half.
Oh, they didn't.
No, they had a field goal in the second half.
Still field goal. Okay.
Yeah, see, 60 million.
Yeah, the only touchdown they got was CD Lamb had a touchdown in the second quarter.
Ken says, raise your hand if you started Rico Dowdell on your fantasy team this weekend. I'll wait.
Raise your hand if you started Ezekiel Elliott in the.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh, my goodness.
that
I'll
was
wait.
good, man.
And then the second shocker would be the Ravens and the Raiders.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, they came back from what, a 23-6 deficit.
That was-
23 to 6.
You know what, guys? That was just freaking glorious. I mean, I'm so happy.
Oh,
Well, I know
love
you're ecstatic about it.
I love it. The Ravens are started 0-2. Granted, the first game was in Brazil. It was against the friggin' Chiefs.
No,
but-
they weren't in Brazil.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was in
That was
Kansas City. I'm
Philly and
sorry.
Green Bay.
That was
Kansas
Philadelphia
City
and
in
Green Bay. I'm
Kansas
sorry.
They
Yeah,
played
but-
Kansas City.
Yeah,
In Kansas City.
yeah. Anyway, they were. I mean, Vegas was down. What was it? I mean,
23-6.
23-6.
Yep.
No, because they scored. No.
And then the
It
wheel
was
fell off.
maybe 16-6 because Vegas scored a touchdown in the third quarter, so that made it 13-0. I'm sorry, 16-13. But Vegas scored 13 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game. So, yeah.
Well, I know two people that I won't see on here today. That'd be my niece and my her husband, Charity and Patrick, because
Yep.
he's a Ravens fan. So yeah, I don't have to worry about seeing them today.
They're what fans?
Raven fans.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
Well, at least he is. Let me put it that way. She's a Dallas Cowboy fan, so yeah, I'm not gonna worry about her either.
Yeah.
So the Ravens scored first in the fourth quarter. So basically, after they go up
23-6.
17-6 is 23-13. Okay.
Well, basically, they got outscored 20-0 from the time it was 23-6. Raiders put up 20 unanswered points without a running game, mind you.
Okay.
Either way, it's a loss. It doesn't matter if
you're right. Yeah, you're right. It was
6.
It
Either way.
was 23-6 because the Ravens scored. Actually, 7-13. It was 16-6. Going
And
into,
this is not a prediction. This is a spoiler.
yeah.
The Raiders are going 2-1 next week. They're at home against Carolina.
Oh, Carolina might not score. They might not score.
Ken has gone to the next game, so
That's the way to do it, Ken. Move on. Move
just
on.
move on. We're on to Cincinnati.
Oh,
Anyway,
and by the way, Cooper Kupp's hurt. So who are the Rams going to throw to next week when they play the 49ers?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, that Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. was working like freaking.
Well, I guess Kyler Murray heard the complaints about 3 targets and 1 catch for 4 yards last week.
Marvin Harrison had a quite different game today than he did last week. I'm
And
telling you.
that's because all the noise about Kyler Murray not going to his number 1 receiver. Period.
Correct.
41.
You spent a 4th round draft pick, a 4th pick in the 1st round on somebody. You play them. You throw it to them.
Yes.
And that's why they lost. Who did they lose to last week? When they lost to
Minnesota. Was
Who?
it Minnesota?
Minnesota played the Giants.
Okay, so it wasn't Minnesota.
Who, you talking about the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah. They lost to Buffalo.
Okay, they lost to Buffalo. Okay, I'm sorry.
When they had, I think it was a 14.
They were leading at one point in that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were leading.
So, I don't know, man. Arizona looks pretty
I mean,
tight.
they
right
don't
now.
look like the doormat of that division anymore, do they?
Huh?
They don't look like the doormat of that division anymore.
No, right now the Rams are the door.
No, the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams are. You're right.
You don't have Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp.
You're
Yeah.
screwed.
And Cooper Kupp had an ankle injury. I wonder if it was the same ankle he had the surgery done on.
That could be an IR stint for him.
Yep. Just like
Especially if it's the same ankle.
Puka's going to be out 5 to 7. And if Cooper goes out, you know what? The Rams better start thinking about next season. Oh, you know what? We didn't mention anything about the Thursday game.
Buffalo and
Miami.
Miami.
I picked Buffalo. Don't forget, I picked Buffalo to win the East.
The big thing to come out of that game is Tua's concussion.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Retirement?
That's his 4th concussion.
He already said he's not. Retirement is not in the cards.
That's his 4th concussion dating back to his college days within the last 3 years.
Yeah, I know he said he's not retiring, but for future health, I mean, he has what, 2 kids, and
Yeah, but he says
I would
he's not
like
going to
him-
retire. He hired
I would like him to know who they are in 10 years.
he hired a neurologist and a concussion specialist to get him through the thing. And once he's healthy and ready to go, he's coming back.
I mean, that wasn't. I mean, looking at the replay, that wasn't a huge hit.
No, it
It
wasn't
just-
at all.
it
but
was-
he said
It was just how his head hit the turf.
Yeah, it's 3 priors. You know, it doesn't take much after you've had a couple. It
Right.
does not take much.
Well, they get worse. The more you get,
Yeah.
the worse they get.
Yes.
But the thing is that the hit itself, did you see the way his neck snapped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the hit itself. I mean, Poyer didn't hit him that hard. He really didn't.
It wasn't Poyer.
Oh, it was. God.
Poyer's on Miami, dude.
Oh, good Lord.
It was DeMar Hamlin.
It was DeMar Hamlin. That's what I meant to say.
Which,
You're right.
which is ironic because of his situation a couple years ago.
Yes.
And his helmet did hit his chest.
Yeah, hit him dead in the chest.
Yeah.
And then in the arm.
But I mean, Hamlin didn't hit him that hard, but it was
No.
the way his head hit the
It's
turf.
not about the hit. It's about the impact of the hit.
Right.
And when he hit his arm, the forearm of Hamlin, his neck snapped to the left.
Yeah.
That in itself will give you a concussion. And then he went into fencer's mode. And that's how I knew it was done.
Yeah. Ken's saying that Tua should retire. I mean,
Everybody's saying that, but it's not
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, well, it's up to him. And like I said, I have mixed feelings, but I'd love for him to be able to know who his kids are in 10 years.
well, he's gonna have that that concussion syndrome. Was it CED or something like that?
CTE.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yep.
CTE. He's going to end up with CTE eventually because of the amount of concussions in a short time frame. So that's probably inevitable. My concern is he going to have dementia / Alzheimer's in the future because of the CTE? That could be a problem.
But here's the thing, like Ryan Clark said the other day, football players are a different beast. Okay. They know the risks when they go on the field.
Yep.
Okay. They know they have family, this, that, and the other, but they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that financially their family is set. And if something happens to them down the line, so be it. At least if that happens, his family is taken care of forever.
Yes.
And that's how football players think.
Yeah, well, he's definitely set him up with generational wealth. That's for sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, Tua's family doesn't have to worry about anything for the rest of their lives.
No.
But you know what? I don't know, how much? Do you guys remember how much of that contract was guaranteed to him?
Uh,
I don't remember.
Can't remember.
All I know is that if he was to retire, he's guaranteed the next 2 seasons $92 million.
Okay. And then again, that's generational wealth, and that's a guarantee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not what you got to remember that the Tungabailoa family, this is a business for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's got a brother too that's going to be coming out.
Did you hear the part where when he was growing up, his father used to whip him if he threw an interception?
Yeah.
I mean, they take their shit seriously when it
They
comes
take
to
this.
football.
They're hardcore. They're
They're
definitely
hardcore.
definitely hardcore.
Exactly.
Ken
So
says, Ken brings out, he says, Joe believes in Jesus because of the crosses he puts on his cheeks each week, each game. And then he says, I firmly believe that Jesus wants you to retire too. You know what, Ken? If he retires, I would not blame him. But the competitor in him
won't let it happen.
probably won't
Won't
let
let it
him
happen.
retire
Won't let it happen.
Nope.
because he
Can't-
feels he has something to prove.
Can't do it. He just
and-
can't do it.
Because
Well,
of
it's
the
not about something to prove.
and again, it's
about
basically
taking care of his family.
yeah, he has taken the contract guarantees his family generational wealth. So therefore he feels like he has nothing to lose to go
You
out there.
got to remember too that his family is the one that helped him get to this point in his life.
Yeah,
As a
his
quarterback.
brother is the quarterback of Maryland, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can tell
His brother is not as good as Tua. I mean, he's not
you
getting
can
the same.
you can suggest him to retire, but ultimately it's his choice. It's his life.
Right.
Let him be.
Well, he's very likable.
If he knows the consequences and the fallback or the fallout from everything, and he still chooses to do it, that's on him.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
And you know what? He's an adult and he can make his own decisions.
right? So, and he's already made it. He already said he's not retiring.
Talk
Retirement
amongst
is
yourselves. I'll be right back.
retirement is not on the table.
Which I figured it wouldn't be.
No. Why would it be for him?
Yep.
The mentality has everything to do with it. So, anyway, congratulations, Aaron Rodgers, for playing a mediocre game and still winning against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, well, when you're playing Tennessee, who I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, they are supposed to be the third worst of the bottom feeders, being Carolina, Denver, and then Tennessee.
Okay. Tennessee's bad. We know that. They got nothing to look forward to be honest with you. You know,
Will Levis.
but they did give the Jets a struggle.
Yes, they did.
So if the Jets, well, we know they got killed by the 49ers, but if they're going to struggle against teams like Tennessee, then they're just overhyped for what
Yeah.
everybody
Well,
was.
I think they're overhyped anyway, and that's the Aaron Rodgers effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, even Tennessee's overhyped, guys. I mean, they're not that great. I mean,
He said they were. He just said they're bottom three in the bottom feeder category.
yeah.
Yeah, they're the best of the bottom feeders. They're supposed to be the third worst. Denver's supposed to be second, and Carolina, of course, obviously.
Is last.
Yeah.
I mean, Carolina guys. I mean, you got to feel for.
I feel bad for Bryce Young. I do.
You
I
got to
honestly
feel
God,
bad
I
for
do.
Bryce Young. He's had no help. And he's under a system where it doesn't make him thrive.
Yeah, but he's also makes some stupid mistakes.
Oh, he made a lot of mistakes today. I
Yeah.
agree.
I don't really think that he's ever going to amount to anything as far as being an NFL quarterback.
And he was a number one overall pick to be.
Mhm. And who
They
was
say
number
you
two?
regress- They say
Who
you
was
regress back to the
That'd be
mean.
C.J.
you
Stroud,
regress back-
Elliot.
Exactly.
C.J. Stroud was number 2 overall.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. They say you regress back to the mean at some point. He's regressed past the mean. He's way past.
Regression.
Yeah.
He's in the deepest part of regression that you can ask.
yeah, it's. I mean, you got to feel sorry for the kid because he's got a lot of talent, but for some reason, he's had 2 head coaches now, and neither one can maximize his talent. He's making, you know what? It goes back. It goes to coach. Falls on coaching, even though he's making mistakes like he's been making. It falls on the coaching. It really does.
Well, it does to a certain extent.
You still got to make the plays no matter what they call.
Exactly.
The team that surprises me is New England. Granted, they lost today in overtime, but still.
It's
They're
all
playing a
about
lot better than we thought they would.
it's
Yeah.
all about personnel.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Bryce Young. He doesn't have the personnel around him. I mean, you look at CJ Stroud, he came in, he had all kinds of receivers, he had a defense, he had, running back, and he just took off. Never looked back.
And how about, and I know this is going to not make you feel too good, Scott, but how about Pittsburgh 2-0?
You know what though? Come on, who they played?
You can only play
Atlanta and Denver.
Hey,
You can only play who's in front of you on the schedule.
real
Atlanta
quick,
and Denver.
real quick, just to answer Ken's statement. If Nick Saban asked him to retire, I think he would. Nick Saban was on Pat McAfee on Friday.
Yeah.
And he told him he wouldn't force him to retire. He wouldn't suggest it. That's on him.
Speaking
That's
of Nick
his
Saban,
choice.
is he not the best addition to College Game Day? Is he
Yeah,
not?
he's definitely improved the set.
Yes.
Well, with all that knowledge, how can't he not?
Well,
Come on.
and how about Pat McAfee being able to say cock on live freaking TV? How about that?
Yeah, and then feeding him steak on the set.
Exactly.
So,
But I don't even think Nick Saban would be able to convince
Nick
me.
Saban already said he's gonna talk to him, he's gonna counsel him and this and that, but he's not gonna tell him he needs to retire.
Right.
He said that's up for Tua and his neurologist to decide.
That's for the medical people to decide.
the medical personnel that are helping him through this. And hopefully the doctor doesn't release him until he's 100% back to normal after that.
Well, he has to go through the doctors and the NFL medical people.
Right. Right.
So
Oh,
it's
it's a
not
hell of
like
a lot of
he's
protocol he has to go through.
exactly, and you're not going to see him back for about at least 4 weeks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I don't think the doctors should have their head examined if they release him, because that's their job, is to determine whether he can or cannot play. The fact that he can play is part of it. The fact that he chooses to play is the other part. And that's not something doctors cannot not release him. Okay, if there's no reason for them not to.
Right.
That's like them holding him hostage.
Right.
And you can't do that.
Nope.
Plus, when it comes to concussions, that's not something like a broken leg that's here and now, and like Joe Theismann, that could be 20 years from now. It could be 40 years from now. So that's something that is not physical from the standpoint of, ACL or biceps or pectoral tear or something like
Right.
that.
Well, and it's an injury that it's an injury that you really can't see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once
Exactly.
the initial part is gone, he could be concussed while he's playing.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, he
You know what I'm
wasn't
saying? But
actually
you
last
can't
year.
see it.
Last year he did concuss and still played through the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that game last year where he
Right.
was concussed. It wasn't diagnosed.
How they let him get back into the game after he stumbled and then say it was a back injury or
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see, that to me is foul.
Right.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Because at that point, he should have been taken off the field and not allowed back in the game.
100%.
He didn't even go under concussion protocol. So let's go ahead and blame Miami and the NFL
Including Mike McDaniel.
for including the whole organization and the
Yep.
NFL
Yep.
for not taking that one seriously and letting him continue to play.
Right.
I'm sorry, but with a concussion, you can probably play, but your faculties are all screwed up,
Very true.
And to me, that's just foul. That's just foul.
Ken says, I will never forget the image of Luke Kuechly sitting in the middle of the field crying because of his last concussion.
Yeah.
And he retired shortly after it.
Yeah. Now, with a guy like Luke Kuechly, it's different because he was a linebacker.
Right.
And when you're on defense and you're hitting like Luke Kuechly hit people,
and you get hit or you
Well,
want
Luke
to hit
Kuechly
somebody
was in
on
the
every
same
play.
mold as John Lynch was. He was in that same mold when he
yeah.
played.
Yeah, on defense, you are either getting hit or going to hit someone on every play.
Right.
Yep. And you know that, I mean, Tua didn't get injured at all last year. Okay.
No, he had a decent season despite the fact that they screwed up and lost that one game that caused them to have to go to Kansas City in the cold to play, and they lost in Kansas City. And it was really, really cold. But yeah, I agree. He had a great season last year.
And you might as well just forget about Miami because Skylar Thompson ain't going to take them nowhere.
Well, you know what? If Tua is going to miss significant time, yeah, you're going to have to just say, okay, Miami's not going to make it.
I'm surprised they have.
We'll be on the same level as the Jets, but
I'm surprised
they're probably going to be in third place behind the.
I'm surprised they haven't gone out and signed Ryan Tannehill.
He's sitting out there.
They still might. It's going to depend on
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because Skylar Thompson is definitely not the answer.
If they got to depend on Skylar Thompson, call it Christmas because that's a wrap.
Hi, Brett. Good to see you, bud. Long time no see.
Actually, Brett, the other day, Ryan Clark on First Take basically explained that there's 3 different helmets that have the Guardian built in. Okay. And they're designed by position. So whatever helmet Tua was wearing had the built-in Guardian, and he still got concussed. Because you know what? I think the concussion was more of the snapping of his head than it was the contact itself.
Correct.
Okay, a Guardian helmet's not going to stop that. Because it wasn't a helmet to helmet. Okay. So you could take that right out the window when it comes to the Guardian cap.
Right.
On that particular play, the Guardian cap wouldn't have done anything.
Nope.
Just for shits and giggles, JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, wore that helmet today during the game.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a couple guys wearing them actually today.
Yes. They do have the option to use that Guardian.
Let me just go back to Tua.
Okay.
If he was wearing that big ass Guardian, all right, his head would have snapped worse because of the weight of the Guardian cap.
It's possible. You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, I mean, I understand the desire to protect, but there's certain things that just won't do it.
And and you know what, guys? It's the nature of the game. It is what it is.
Yep.
It's the nature of playing in the NFL.
Every
Injuries
day of
happen.
a car crash.
Injuries happen, and you've got.
Well, you gotta understand that a lot of these NFL players have been playing this game since they were kids.
Yes. The impact, some of the impacts in the NFL are like Wayne said, like a car crash every single play. You know, especially on the defensive and offensive line, it's like a car crash every single play. Okay. And again, you go back to the analogy saying these players know what they signed up for. They know the dangers of the game. They know what's going to happen. Yeah. They know the impacts. They know the risks. They signed up for it.
Yeah.
And they get paid very well for playing this game.
I think it was whiplash that gave him the concussion, just like Ken pointed out.
Yeah.
Because whiplash can give you a concussion.
Yeah, whiplash will do it as well. So,
and you know what? The way his head got rocked like that, that's whiplash.
And that wasn't, again, like we said, it was not a serious hit.
It was contact, but it wasn't.
It was
as
the
serious as it
location.
could have been.
It was the location
Yeah.
and the way his head reacted to the hit.
Correct. He was in this position again with the frozen hands.
Yep. Sad to see.
I saw Did you guys see Deion Dawkins' interview
No.
No.
where he was saying that Deion Dawkins is an offensive lineman?
Mhm.
Okay. And he said, prayers to Tua, this, that, and the other. But he said that the guys on the sideline were actually screaming for him to slide.
He should have slid. He didn't slide. He went head first instead of going feet first.
Get down, slide, get down. That's basically what they were saying.
He did not slide feet first like he should have. He went head first to try and get the first down.
Well, he lowered his shoulder. He lowered his shoulder.
Yep.
But the fact is that his head was still exposed.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the severity of the hit. It's the way the hit played out.
Correct.
That's the angle of the impact.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, kudos, Seattle, 2-0 now.
Seattle, yes, they won today too. How about that? Of course, it was against New England. You know what, though?
But it was
off to Seattle for traveling 3,000 miles across the country and winning a game in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah. Well, it was overtime as well. So, like I said, kudos to New England putting up a fight. Obviously,
New England did put up a fight. Yeah.
What was that?
I said New England did put up a fight.
Yeah, they put up a fight. So,
guys, New England's not going to be as much of a pushover in that division.
And you know why that is? Because of their defense.
I was going to say
defense is really good.
Top 10. Defense is at least top 10.
Yep. So defense will keep you in games.
Yep.
And again, Jacoby Brissett is not just some journeyman quarterback. He's really good. The Browns proved that when they put him in there. When they put him in there a couple of years ago, yeah.
And he's back in New England, so
yes.
Yep.
So but Brissett was 15 of 27 for 149. It wasn't a lot of yardage. He did throw an interception. Antonio Gibson had 11 carries for 96 yards, which isn't bad.
Most of that was on one run.
Ramon Stevenson had 21 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown.
Did you hear that?
What's that?
Antonio Gibson's 96 yards was mostly on one run.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But still.
so it's not like he was burning out the score sheet.
Okay. But the defense, they sacked Geno Smith.
Yeah, but Geno threw for 327 yards or something like that.
2.53. They sacked Geno 3 times. The defense on New England was they were really good, and that's the reason why they was so close. But the fact of the matter is that Seattle went 3,000 miles and won in the Eastern time zone, which doesn't happen a lot.
Well, the Raiders did. The Raiders did it.
And so did the Chargers.
And so did the Chargers.
Yeah, but the Chargers
are playing. The Chargers were playing Carolina. So
yeah, the Chargers are playing a semi-pro team.
A semi-pro team. Okay, yeah.
But the Raiders were the most impressive of them. The way they came back and beat the Ravens.
I'm so happy about it. Go Raiders. I love it. Yeah. I love you some Gardner Minshew. I'm just going to say that.
And apparently the Packers center, since Sheila said the Packers center, Josh Myers threw up before he snapped it back to Malik Willis.
Which is why he didn't throw the ball, because it was too dead.
And one of the guys, which game was it? I think it was the Jets game. Once they won, he threw up on the field too. One of their defensive backs.
What you talking about, Willis?
Seattle is not.
How about them? Hey, how about them Commanders winning with 7 field goals?
There you go. They got to 21 the unconventional way.
But it was the Giants, you guys. It's
the Giants are garbage, man. And I feel sorry for the people in Germany. They got to watch Carolina and New York later on.
And you know what's funny?
I think it's in November.
Graham Gano was injured, and they didn't have a backup kicker to replace him.
And that's why they lost. Because they had a chance to kick a field goal at the end there
Yep.
to put them ahead.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
didn't happen.
Yep. They lost by 3. They scored 3
That's
touchdowns and
typical-
lost by 3.
Hey, that's typical New York Giants shit right there.
That's New Jersey. Yeah.
And
Hey, Pat,
Daniel
hey,
Jones
Pat,
is still a quarterback.
You know, if Cleveland falls flat on their face, like I would expect them to at some point, you could always switch over to Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
Oh God.
Hey, how about the Bucks, man? They came through.
Not them Bucks.
You guys, I said this a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, because of my relationship, I have to root for the Bucks because she loves the Buccaneers.
Well, not just that, but they have a better quarterback than you do.
Yes, they do.
And you can
As
also
hard as it is for me to accept it, I love me some Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, guys.
and as you already said, you can actually say his name.
Baker Mayfield. I will always be able to say Baker Mayfield. Despite the fact he plants the Oklahoma flag in the middle of the Ohio State field, I don't care. But I will always love me some Baker Mayfield. I've rooted for him since he was drafted. I was not happy with the Browns picking him, but I was mistaken. The kid, the guy, I mean, you got to love his heart. You really do. I mean, the guy plays with his heart on his sleeve. And he had an 11-yard run touchdown today. And he was very self-deprecating. God, that sucks. Only 11 yards. He was very self-deprecating in his press conference after the game about his.
He's grown up a lot since his first 2 years in Cleveland.
The kid has grown up a lot. You're right, Elliot. You're right. He really
No
has.
progressive commercials to worry about.
Yeah, he
He was
doesn't worry about progressive.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
he got away from that progressive crap, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So, good win for Tampa, avenging their playoff loss last year to the.
That was a good game, guys. That really was. It was in back and forth all game long. And God, I mean, Baker was 12 of 19 for 185 and a touchdown. He did have a pick, but he had 5 carries he was the leading rusher with 5 carries for 34 yards. I mean, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were clutch. Chris Godwin had a hell of a touchdown catch today.
I kind of didn't really think Mike Evans played today.
He had 3 catches for 42 yards, which
Yeah, that's kind of like him not playing today.
right. It was better. It was better last week because last.
You
week,
know what though? They were probably keying on him, and that's why Godwin got off.
Yes, Godwin had 117 yards in receiving, which is probably why, because Mike Evans was being double teamed, why Godwin was so open all day. And Godwin had a great game. He had 8 targets, but he caught 7 of them. So they only missed 1 time against to Godwin today. So it was, I mean, a good game for the Buccaneers going into Detroit, beating the team that knocked him out of the playoffs last year. But you know what? Dan Campbell was still coaching from his freaking waist. That fake punt, they were way on their own territory.
I don't understand that one.
You know, and
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing: if that would have failed, where would Dan Campbell be right now?
I don't know. But you know what? It was a gutsy play, and it worked. Who cares? You know.
I think people should care.
Yeah. Well, what I find fascinating, if everything goes according to plan tomorrow night, you're going to have Tampa Bay and New Orleans at 2-0 in the NFC South, and the Atlanta Falcons with all their additions,
0-2.
Carolina at 0-2.
Because they play
And
Philadelphia.
here we were discounting New Orleans. Nobody picked New Orleans to do anything.
No, New Orleans was picked to be last. I mean, actually,
we
third.
were picking them to be third.
No, they had to be third.
behind the Bucks and Atlanta.
Yeah, if you pick Carolina to be third in that division, I hate to say it, but yeah, you need to go to rehab.
Either that or you need to switch sports.
I mean, the Saints are 2-0. The Bucks are 2-0. Carolina's 0-2 as we expected.
As expected.
and the Falcons play the Eagles tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, they could very well be 0-2.
I believe they will be.
I think they
I
will
believe
too.
they will be.
I mean, first of all, because of it's in Philadelphia, number one,
Yep.
and because Philadelphia is so much a better team than Atlanta is right now.
Come on, New Orleans have dropped 240 burgers on people.
Yeah. And they almost set a record or tied a record.
I can't wait for the first game between them and the Bucs. I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is, but it's going to be a great game.
They're a field goal short. They were a field goal short of having 47 or more points in 3 straight games.
Yeah. I mean, not Atlanta, but New Orleans. I mean, Derek Carr has got, he's rejuvenated his career in New Orleans just in the last 2 weeks.
Ken, the undefeated teams left are the Bills, the Steelers, imagine that. The Texans, as of the moment, which they should be 2-0 after tonight.
If they're playing the Bears tonight, yes.
Yep. The Chiefs.
The Chargers.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. The Vikings. The Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Seahawks.
Well, Philly is, but they play tomorrow night. So
Philly should be 2-0 after tomorrow night.
Right. They should be. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Houston should be 2-0 tonight after tonight.
We got 8 undefeated teams left with 2 more getting ready to hit that status at 2-0.
Yeah, well, Chicago and Houston are both 1-0, but I believe that
Houston and Philly will
I
join
think
the
Houston
2-0 club.
win tonight and tomorrow night. So there's going to be the other two undefeated teams.
There'll be 10 teams left with 2-0 records.
Yes.
Philly would really have to fall apart to lose tomorrow night based on last week with Kirk Cousins and his putrid play.
Well, the only positive right now that Atlanta could look at is that A.J. Brown's not playing tomorrow night.
A.J. Brown is out, yes. But you know what? Kirk Cousins is still – I think he's favoring that leg from his Achilles.
No, that Achilles ain't right, dude. Don't be surprised if you see my – you know what? If you think back, was that the strategy by the GM to draft Michael Penix just in case Kirk Cousins –
Why shouldn't it be? Michael Penix has proven himself already. I mean,
I understand that, but I'm just saying, was that maybe in the mind of Fontenot?
I don't know if Fontenot did it because of that. I think more than likely it was because Penix would be the quarterback of the future, and he would benefit from backing up Kirk Cousins for this year and maybe next year, so where when he steps in, he's ready. And that might be the issue. Okay. Kirk Cousins didn't take it personally. He understood. But Penix is going to be the guy of the future for Atlanta. It is.
Well, depending on tomorrow night, the future might be coming a lot sooner.
I agree, Wayne. Depending on how, if Kirk Cousins get hurt, Penix has to learn on the fly.
Yeah, the future might be now. After tomorrow night.
I mean, the Falcons spent a lot of money on Kirk Cousins to bring him to get him away from Minnesota. He spent a lot of money. You know?
Yeah, they did.
So, it is what it is regarding that is concerned. Just want to touch on real quick what we haven't covered. Let's see. What haven't we covered yet? We
haven't covered Indianapolis and Green Bay.
Green Bay won. Yeah, Green Bay wins at home. It's unexpected. And you know what? Malik Willis had a really good game for Green Bay today too. He played very well.
The Arizona Cardinals totally stomped on the Los Angeles Rams today.
We covered that too. Yes, absolutely. Pittsburgh beats Denver in Denver, which wasn't a surprise.
And then, as usual, Cincinnati leaves too much time in the clock for Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
Yep.
And they wind up losing. But mind you, they won another game when a penalty decided the outcome.
The pass interference got them into field goal range at the the last drive. of the
Which
game.
I think was questionable because I thought the defender was going up for the ball just like the receiver.
Yeah.
And that's not supposed to
Well,
be.
another case of the refs favoring
But
Kansas
the
City.
referee saw an opportunity that it was a close enough call that they can make it.
Yes. I mean, Malik Willis had a quarterback rating of 126.8 against the
But
Colts.
he only threw for 122 yards.
Right. He had 1 touchdown.
He had a
no
passer
sacks.
rating because he didn't have an interception.
But he
and
didn't.
had
I mean, I'm
80.
sorry. His quarterback rating was 82.5. I apologize.
Okay. I was
Um,
gonna say 120 something.
yeah, it was 82.5.
Not
But
bad these days.
Anthony Richardson, after his tremendous performance last year, especially that big old 60-yard in the air touchdown he threw, this week was 17 of 34 for 204. He had a touchdown, but he had 3 picks.
3 interceptions,
3 interceptions. Yes.
which pissed me off because he's on my fantasy team. But
Was he
Derek,
your QB1? Was he your QB1 today?
hey, but Derek Carr is on waivers, so I might be making a move this week.
I mean, after what he's done the last 2 weeks, that might be your best choice, Elliot.
Who does New Orleans play next week?
It doesn't matter at this point. Let's see. Next week, week 3.
Trying to get the schedule. Hang on a second.
Is this
Come on, give me the schedule, damn it.
okay? Here we go.
Go ahead, Elliot. Go get it.
I got it. Oh, the Thursday night game, New England at the Jets.
Oh boy, be still my heart. What an exciting game that's going to be.
And then Cleveland gets another gimme with the freaking Giants.
Yep, the Giants are playing next. The Browns are playing the Giants at home next weekend. You're
Wait till
correct.
you guys play some real teams. That's what
We will eventually. We should remember that that whole division is tough. So yeah, we will be eventually.
Who are we looking for? Who play next week?
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans next week. They are hosting Philadelphia.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be a good game.
Yeah. Well, next week's schedule, you're looking at Green Bay gets another win at Tennessee.
Mm.
Indianapolis and Chicago, to me, is a toss-up.
That'll be good. That'll be a good game.
Here's another good game. Houston at Minnesota.
Yes, that'll be another good game. Yeah, absolutely.
Philly, New Orleans.
Okay.
The Chargers and the Steelers. That ought to be a good game, too.
Is it in LA or is it in Pittsburgh?
It's in Pittsburgh.
That's why the Chargers are staying on the East Coast this week.
Exactly. Denver at Tampa. There's another one for Tampa. Tampa should be
win for the
3-0
Bucs,
after
especially
next
at
week.
home.
3-0 after next week.
What's
Baker
that, Wayne?
Mayfield.
I already said earlier, it's not a prediction or it's a spoiler. Vegas will be 2-1 after next week when they play Carolina.
Vegas plays Carolina.
Mhm.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
And a news flash: water is wet.
You got Miami at Seattle. Seattle ought to win that one.
Yeah, if it's in Seattle, yes. That'd be cool.
Ooh, Baltimore at Dallas.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, San Francisco gets to play in Levi Stadium.
SoFi.
It's,
That's
yeah, but
a
you know
home
what?
game because all the 49ers fans come out.
Actually, Levi Stadium South. Wayne.
Yeah, Levi
Yeah,
South.
Levi Stadium South, because based on last year's game, which I almost got tickets to, it was more 49er fans in there than were Rams.
There always is.
It always is.
It's
It
always
doesn't matter if the
rivalry.
Rams are there or the Chargers are there. It's always more the visiting team fans than there is the home team, especially if the Raiders come to SoFi, because you do know Los Angeles is a big, big Raider conglomerate. They love the Raiders in LA. They do.
Yeah, but San
It's funny
Francisco
because the Raiders, if they play in LA, they have more Raiders fans. But if you go to Las Vegas, you'll have more of the other teams fans because of the fact that it's just
it's a
one of
tourist
those towns
town.
where people come to visit.
It's a tourist town.
It's the same thing with the Vegas Golden Knights. It's all about the tourists. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Then you got Detroit at Arizona.
That'll
Ooh,
be
good
fun to
game.
watch.
Kansas City gets another victory next week at Atlanta.
At Atlanta.
That's actually the Sunday night game.
And then Monday has 2 games.
2 games on Monday night. Oh, wow.
Jacksonville at Buffalo.
Do you really want to call them games?
You know what? These 2 games on Monday night are just jokes. The Jags at the Bills and the Commanders at the Bengals. God, those are just bad games. I'm sorry. They really are.
Good thing that they don't play consecutively. They play concurrently.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But we can still go to bed. We can still go to bed early knowing the outcomes of those 2 games.
Well, I don't have to worry about that here because by the time the game's
you
over,
people in the Pacific time zone don't have to worry about getting up early after these games because they
Exactly.
start early. So,
Yep.
Anyway, all right, it's 8:30. Let's get the hell out of here. Good show, guys. I want to thank my co-host tonight, Mr. Elliot Big E, the producer Lamba, Dwayne, the Professor Lynch, Ken Coslow in the chat. Thanks for everybody that showed up tonight. We had a good crowd for our show, at least. And on that note, Elliot, play the outro. Let's get the hell out of here.
Thank you once again, Nerd Nation, for spending part, if not all of your evening with us here for this latest episode of the Sports Nerd Show. Please keep in mind that we do this on a regular basis every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. And since each night's start time is different, please check out our SNN group page on Facebook for the correct times. So until the next time we come together, Nerd Nation, on behalf of the Sports Nerd and his co-hosts, Ken Coslow, John Olson, Wayne Lynch, and me, Big E, may your lives be filled with all the best sports action anyone human can handle, as well as all the joy it can possibly bring you. And with all that said, good night, Nerd Nation, as the time has come to say, we